I'd like to welcome you into the Kingdom Talk series. Kingdom Talk series is about looking into the teachings of Jesus Christ, into the depth meaning that Jesus Christ is passing across in all of his teachings. There are some of these that when we understand the person of Jesus, where he is coming from, then we will have a new look, a fresh understanding to his teachings that helps us to live our life better on earth, and at the same time give us a place in the Father's kingdom, just like he has promised. But we need to understand his word, the deep meaning of his word. So today, I'm going to start this with one of the popular phrases in the prayer that he gave to his disciple: "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Now, this is a popular passage that we are all familiar with. It was taken from Matthew 6:16. "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Now, we need to pay attention to something here. Now, what Jesus is saying here is the way we should be living our life here on earth is the way they are living it in heaven. In other words, the heaven is the standard by which he wants us to live our life here on earth. So, and if that is the case, then we must know how the citizens of heaven do it. And to know how the citizens of heaven do it, we must have a good knowledge of the heavens. Because if you don't have a knowledge of a place, then how do you know how the people there behave? So those are some of the things that we'll be looking into in this series of the Kingdom Talk. So some of the questions that we would address in this is, what is this God's will? How is it done in heaven? How many heavens are there? How should we be doing it on earth? And why is it so important to do it on earth? So let's get deep into this. As I've said before, the key to understanding the deep meaning of Jesus' teachings is in good understanding of the workings of the heavens, how life is in the heavens, the various spheres or layers of heavens, and how is life in the region of darkness below the heavens. So an understanding of this will help us a lot in understanding the deep meaning of the teachings of Jesus Christ. Now, before we go into that, I want to quickly show you a video.
Crane lifts them into the pool, wearing 300 pounds of space suit apiece. They don't call it the new once weighted properly.
So, and that's
are also responsible
for also time to understand where we are going. Explore where we are going. Understand it so that it's like asking an astronaut, how does the moon look like? Or how does the Mars look like? And say, I don't know. When I get there, I'll find out. That's the attitude that many of us have actually to heavens. It might be too late if you have to wait to get there to find out. Yet, Jesus is telling us to do it here on earth, even before we get there. To do the will of the Father here on earth as they do it in heaven. So, in other words, it's not expecting us that until we get to heaven before we find out how heaven is all about. How life is I mean, how people in heaven live their life. So he expects us to know it, to explore that here and live that life here on earth. So that is what he's teaching in that prayer that he gave to his disciples. So if you go deep into that teachings now, the question sometimes is, why should we worry about heaven now? Well, nobody is praying to die now. But then the scriptures tell us in Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1 and 6, said, don't let the excitement of being young cause you to forget about your Creator. Honor Him in your youth before the evil years come, when you will no longer enjoy living. Then if you go down into verse 6, he said, yes, remember your Creator now while you are young, before the silver cord of life snaps and the gold bows is broken. Now, I underline the word silver cord here because I also, in my discussion with people, I realized that not many people even understand this, what the silver cord is. And before I go further, I want to give you a brief idea of what this fast is really talking about. So, many of us are familiar that when a child is born, there is what we call umbilical cord that attaches the baby, the new baby, and to the mother. So, and that is the source where when the baby is in the mother's womb, the umbilical cord is the source of life, where the food passed from the mother to the baby. The same thing is also it is the same function that silver cord that is mentioned in Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 6 also does into our spiritual life. The umbilical cord connects the physical body to our souls. So, and as long as that silver cord is connected to the soul, we receive through the physical body inspiration from above. Spiritual food gets into our soul through this. But at the point of our passing away, or at the point at which we go back to our home, which we all agree is in heaven, this cord, just like the umbilical cord, that before the mother or anyone can take the new baby away, they have to cut the umbilical cord away from the mother. The same process happened at the final day of every human being on earth. That silver cord is also severed so that the soul can go to where it came from, and then the flesh remain on the earth. So that's what that passage is saying, that before this is cut off, remember your Creator. Before this silver cord is cut off. So they will have, the Bible already gave us, warn us that when we are in our youth, we need to understand, we need to remember where we came from. And similarly, If you look at the book of Matthew 6, verse 33, Jesus says, seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously. Seek the kingdom of God above all else. In another translation, it said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. So, seek ye the kingdom of God first. In one of the Paul's writing, in the Philippians 3:20, Paul made us realize that our citizenship is in heaven. So if our citizenship is in heaven, then why don't we begin to explore this place? Seek to understand this country that we all know that we are going back to. You know, it's like when American child is born outside of America. And each time at the age of 10, 12, 15, 20, the parents kept telling him, no, you are citizens of America, you are citizens of America, but he has never been there in America. Don't you think that that child will start asking his parents or himself, or even reading, searching, how is my country looks like? How do people in my country live? What are the benefits? What are things in my country? How do they look like? That is the same thing that we should be doing. Because we all know, no matter how long we stay on earth, one day that silver cord will be severed and we will need to return back to where we came from. So, and that's why it is important to look into the issue of heaven. Understand how the citizens of heaven lives their life, which Jesus said that is how he wants us to live it here on earth. So if we look at the book of Colossians 3:1, chapter 3, verse 1 to 2, he said, since you have been raised to new life with Christ, set your sights on the realities of heaven. Set your sights on the realities of heaven, where Christ sits in the place of honor at God's right hand. Think about the things of heaven. So we have the biblical reason to study life in heaven. And it's on the basis of that biblical reason that I have done a lot of studies about heaven and sharing it with you today. So, the reason for my going into this started sometimes back in 2007 when I got a revelation of heaven and hell. Now, for some of you who are my friend on Facebook, you would have read what I've written about this in one of my Facebook posts, which I call A Tale of Two Cities. Here is I was first taken into heaven. It was in a dream when I found myself in a party with a lot of people there. And then in this party, as everybody was dancing, singing, marrying, eating, I saw three figures from a distance, standing from a distance and asking me to come. So at a point then I decided, okay, let me go to them. And then I was going to them. As I was approaching these three figures, then I see that they also have started transforming. Their image is transforming. They are becoming more brighter and glowing. So by the time I get into their fronts, they are so bright. They were all in white apparel, so bright that I cannot even look up to the image, to them. So I have to bow down my head, kneel down in front of especially the one in the middle. And he talked to me and said, look at that city. They have no king. And immediately he made that statement, I found myself in this beautiful city. It's so beautiful that I have no word to describe how this place looks like. It is, if like the Bible says that it's a city of gold. Though it's not like the gold that we have here on earth, but it's so beautiful. The stage at which I entered in this city is like a sunset, where the atmosphere is bright. It's not sunny. It's not sun, because you cannot see your shadow. You cannot see the shadow of the building. You cannot see the shadow of the trees. See, as you walk around, well, it's so beautiful. You can, there are lights in the buildings, magnificent buildings in these places, magnificent buildings. There are hills, mountains, rivers, beautiful gardens in this city. And I walk. But one thing that strikes me is that there are not many people in that city. And that I was the only one that I can see walking on the streets. There are so many buildings, but not many people walk on the streets. And I walk, and at a point I said, wow, this is where I like to be. So let me go back and bring my family. And that's when I woke up. Now, not far from that time, I had another dream. And in the dream, I slept in the dream. I had a dream in the dream. And in the dream, I was taken into a place. Actually, I slept in that dream, and by the time I woke up in that dream of the dream, I woke up in a hall that looks like a refugee camp. There are so many people that were still sleeping. I was the only one who woke up at that time, because there was a loud voice that woke me up. So, and when I woke up with this loud voice, I wanted to know where that loud noise is coming from. So I went outside, and on getting outside, I realized that, wow, this place looks like a marketplace. But there's one thing, there's so many people. There are so many people, and the street is narrow. The only way I can just say is like a busy marketplace. But one thing that strikes me here is that here I have, even though I don't see, I have a sense that I have some guides that prevent me from branching out of the main path that they were directing me to go. So, but as I was going through this, I see people in groups. Some of them have chains on their neck and shouting, pain, in agony, as if somebody is beating them, but yet I don't see anybody beating them. Some people were in a group of, in a circle with fire in their midst. But these people wore like, the kind of clothes they have on them is like sack, rags. Their face is like somebody put hashish, or pour hashish upon them. So they just look horrible. They look horrible. All of them are in pain. It's like they are being burned by that fire. Even though you don't see the physical fire burning them, because the fire is in their midst, you don't see the physical fire on them, but the kind of pain is like they are being burned by fire. And I walk and walk. And some of them were looking at me, and I said, hey, please come and save us. But there's nothing I can do, because, like I said, I have guides who does not allow me to move outside of that path for which I have been guided. So, and then from there, I woke up again. And for years, I reflected on these two places, heaven and hell. And after some time, I tend to just discard it with a wave of hand that, well, these are just ordinary dreams. It doesn't make, I should just forget about it. But then, since 2007, that I had those dreams, my mind has not been at rest. But each time I want to set my mind off this, I receive that inner voice that is not an ordinary dream. I've given you a message. to give to the world. And I've been struggling with that. I struggle with it a lot. That's how do I deliver this kind of message to mankind? Who will listen? Because there's so much here that people just, a lot to just not believe it unless you experience it. But the issue here is God does not want people to experience the other side. So, and that is why this message needs to go out. So this year, I decided that yes, I'm going to deliver it. So, and that's where that's where I'm calling this one the Kingdom Talk series. So, based on that, as the scripture says, it said, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. He who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Matthew 7:7-8. Indeed, I ask, I seek, and the door is open. And that's what we'll be sharing for those who are the true seekers in this Kingdom Talk series. This is for the true seekers, because I know there are a category of people who will listen, just like the parable of the sower. There are some who will listen, but just discard it. Some will even call it, oh, you don't know what we're talking about. But the true seeker, it will resonate in your spirit. The true seekers. And those are what I'm addressing in this message. So, let's look at the question. How many heavens are there? Well, I've cited the Bible, but the Bible did not give us detailed information about the heavens, but it gave us enough hints